a commanding win by Evil Geniuses there to keep their playoff hopes alive. Now, something that both Jat and Kobe touched on as well.
Yeah.
All of those members of EG individually stepped up huge this game. Why haven't we seen this EG earlier in the split?
It's hard to say. I feel like you have to ask them for their own opinions. Some people just don't do well in high pressure. And the majority of that lineup's been playing competitively for a long time, but for whatever reason, sometimes things will just break apart in an actual game on the stage. For whatever reason, it just happens. I just feel like something breaks down. Like, I'm not them. I can't tell you, but something clearly breaks down when they get on the stage. If they keep playing like that, they are a really good team.
Yeah, I can't tell you either, but we did see little glimpses of this back when they played CLG and ended the game in about 27, 28 minutes. They know how to close games out, but they don't know how to always get that lead in the early game and then snowball it from there. That was a very, very well-played game all across all lanes. Huge props to EG for that. Hope we see more.
Yeah, well, that's fair. So let's jump into champions like that and talk about the picks before we go into that dominating performance. So, Phreak, talk to me about these new picks that we saw Curse come out with.
So basically, this is Curse getting, I think, what they believe, and actually I believe as well, were ideal lanes. I think Fizz is good against Syndra. I think they believe Shen's going to do well against Lulu. Dominates Evelynn is awesome, and they banned Morgana and got to pick Braum in the first round. Like, all these things should spell lane wins. The problem for Curse is Dominate, I thought, actually played really well despite having 6 deaths this game. I thought he was making really, really smart moves. But the bot lane somehow crumbled, and Voyboy died mid. Like, pretty much for free, and that is a really, really bad mistake that sets them back. And when you're a team where basically your lanes are supposed to win and you have no fallback patterns, if you get behind, you're crushed.
Yeah, your damage threats on that team are pretty limited when you have a Shen in the top lane.
Yeah.
He's kind of utility a little less so than Lulu brings to the table, and a big part of that was that we saw Dominate. He hit level 6 first. He was level 6 when Helios was level 4. He went in, he got his second red buff. Things looked really good for Curse, and then Voyboy gets solo killed in mid by Pobelter, and then the damage just stacks on. You saw how far behind Voyboy was in build. He was about 1 in 4 at some point, had the pieces of a Lich Bane when the top laner was getting his Rabadon's death cap. So the damage threats just weren't present, and they had a little bit of shielding, but it just wasn't enough.
So we have to give some credit, though, to EG
for
counterplaying there.
Yeah.
Knowing that Helios was down, they actually set up a fantastic counter invade when they were going in for the blue. That ended up in a kill there, kind of getting them right back into the game. So with EG having this, with their dominating performance across the lanes, let's talk about how they progressed through the mid game and just, closed out that win nice and easy.
Well, you want to go for it? Or?
I was going to say, it's basically off the back of Krepo's hooks. He kept getting picks over and over again. Sometimes little inadvertent picks there with the baits in, but really just all the lanes just kind of won. There was a lot of pressure that was created by Helios in the early game after that first blood, and then in the mid game he just transitioned really, really well into knowing where to put the pressure. Dragon area, bottom, also get wards on their objectives. Just all around great play and vision control.
Yeah, and I really have to commend the strategic choices made by EG. I remember there was a really specific moment when Dragon was coming up and EG sent like 3 guys top, and the casters were like, this is a big risk. Turret's not worth as much as Dragon. If they don't get the kill, they go down in gold. But what I loved was how well they played around Curse's composition. I hope this was on purpose because it spells great things for EG, is they said, look, you guys are going to have to dive in. You guys are going to have to go for flanks and try to just force battles. And that is easy at Dragon. Dragon fights you back. He deals damage to you, right? Minions can't take Dragon. They don't show up there. And they're like, you know what? No, we're going to siege top, and we're going to ward the flanks, and Voyboy, I dare you to flank us. Oh, you just got stunned by Syndra and you're dead. Right? And they opted out of the Dragon fights, opted into a turret push where they could control all of the factors of the fight. And that is such a smart decision against a team that wants to wreak havoc against you, that it was a very clean win.
It's a very valid point, saying that they looked for picks and were avoiding fights as much as they could until they had hit that power spike where they were capable of winning them pretty easily. So that being said, we're going to pull up a replay here, Zirene, around the Baron area, red side jungle Baron area, mid-game. This is where we finally have like our first big team fight.
All right, so this is the Dragon area right here. Krepo, it actually ends up being a 3v5 with the 5 members of Curse showing up. We're going to roll the clip out right now. You can see that Altec, and we also have Helios in the top lane. Shen gets here first. Krepo, he's actually baiting this out. They get the stun up. X-Special knocks up 2, but here comes the TP. He gets a knock up, and it knocks up 2 members. Then eventually, all this layered on CC here hits 3 with the stun, and just the damage is being piled on and piled on. They're peeling backwards, and then hello, here comes Helios. Flash, Cocoon, onto about a clump of 3 people, you're going to hit at least one of them. He gets Cop. They go hard on this fight. Altec comes up, and that was just such a long fight that they were able to trek all the way from top lane to middle down to that dragon area, and just a little overextension there by Curse, even though Curse didn't get a pick at the start because they were lacking the damage.
Yeah, and that really speaks to the fact that they don't have a fallback pattern, the fact that they have to win their lanes early on. Is you get a 5v3 and don't pick up a kill, things are going to spell really bad for you. And it's smart of Curse to force things like that. I think they have to keep trying, and they hope they finally get the damage in, but as you saw, you lose your lanes by that much and you don't have a way in.
All right, real quick, one final question. EG is going to start off their week next week with Cloud9, who's looking pretty good themselves. So are they going to be able to keep this playoff dream alive?
Depends on which EG shows up. We've seen the CLG versus EG. We've seen the Curse versus EG. And we saw yesterday's performance versus TSM. You know, we said that Lustboy wasn't really kind of tried out by Crepo yesterday, or that bottom lane. But, man, Crepo, if he was facing Lustboy today, it'd be a different story. So it's really up in the air. It's a flip of a coin for EG right now.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Crepo, we heard him say that they had a great week of scrims. Maybe they'll have another one, and they'll come back stronger than ever.
Yeah.
Now we've got to take a quick break while we round up the minions for our next match, Cloud9 versus LMQ. Stay tuned for more North American LCS action.